Democrats, GOP dodge blame for shutdown. Hours after shuttering much of the U.S. government, feuding Democrats and Republicans began dodging blame as the immigration standoff continues with little sign of progress in the negotiations. The finger-pointing has played out in rare weekend proceedings in Congress in both the House and Senate, as lawmakers sought to show voters they're actively working for a solution, or actively making their case why the other party is at fault. The American people cannot begin to understand why the Senate Democratic leader thinks the entire government should be shut down until he gets his way on illegal immigration, said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, R. Kentucky. Hours after a last-chance Senate vote failed, Democrats have refused to provide the votes needed to reopen the government until they strike a deal with President Donald Trump protecting young immigrants from deportation, providing disaster relief, and boosting spending for opioid treatment and other domestic programs. Democrats feel very strongly about the issues, said Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Democratic leader. The fighting followed a late-night Friday vote in which Senate Democrats blocked a House-passed measure that would have kept agencies functioning for 4 weeks. Republicans began the day hopeful they might gain Democratic support for a 3-week version and bring the episode to a quick end. Democrats want an alternative lasting only several days, which they think would pressure Republicans to cut an immigration deal, and say they'll kill the 3-week version when the Senate votes on it early Monday. The shutdown coincided with the anniversary of Trump's inauguration. It also came as protesters marched outside the White House in a reprise of the Women's March from a year ago. Trump was out of sight and canceled plans to travel to his resort in Florida for the weekend. But he did tweet that the Democrats wanted to give me a nice present to mark his second year in office. Instead, Trump worked the phones, staying in touch with McConnell, while White House Legislative Affairs Director Mark Short and Budget Chief Mick Mulvaney met at the Capitol with House Republicans. GOP lawmakers voiced support for the White House stance of not negotiating while the government was shuttered. Republicans have blamed the breakdown on Schumer, while the Democrats have increasingly focused their messaging on criticizing Trump, using his zigzagging stance on immigration to underscore a chaotic first year. Negotiating with President Trump is like negotiating with Jell-O, Schumer said. Short compared Democrats' actions to a 2-year-old temper tantrum. The Statue of Liberty, the nation's emblem of its immigrant past, and Philadelphia's Liberty Bell were closed on Saturday, but visitors were able to enter other iconic national parks like Yellowstone. Social Security and most other safety net programs were unaffected by the lapse in federal spending authority.